I'll call the Recreation, Public Parks and Buildings Committee meeting today, Tuesday, August 11th, 2020 at 7:37 p.m. to discuss 2020-82, a resolution authorizing the mayor to enter into a contract with Supply Company to supply touchless plumbing and electric fixtures for municipal restroom facilities as a real and present emergency exception to public bidding and declaring an emergency. And we have a handwritten price comparison worksheet here, which the lowest bidder was Wind Supply for $92,658.90. And who would like to take that, please? Director Glauner.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. During the COVID discussions we had for keeping the city hall safe, we had discussed this prior to receiving any additional monies or anything else, what we could do to make all city facilities safe. This isn't just City Hall. This is both fire stations, the police station, the recreation department, the Springvale Senior Center, and City Hall. Every building that we own. And we had a company, we wanted to go with Moen Products to hopefully support a local company here. And we went to them to hopefully go direct. We could not buy directly from them. We have to go through one of the retailers or one of the distributors that distribute that product. And these were the three top that we found that are local. So we went out and asked for bids from each of them. They came in and bid. I don't know if you have the totals on them, but throughout the city, there are approximately 30 urinals that need to be replaced, 44 direct feed toilets, 92 faucets, 114 soap dispensers, 69 air hand dryers, and 35 automatic hand sanitizers. We added a couple extras so that we would have some on back or for backup if one of them were to break. We also, for the air dryers, they do not need a breaker of their own. They just need to be direct fed from another electrical source. And we have the electrical contractor that we've utilized here for City Hall already here staged in the City Hall. So the lowest bid is the $92,658, and that was after receiving 3 bids from competitive bidding throughout the industry.
Okay, thank you. I was going to ask how many different fixtures that would be, but you covered that, and I will get that from you again so I can write it down. And I failed to say who's here, but as far as our committee goes, it's Kelly and Broussard. And Mr. Broussard, do you have a question for this?
I do, thank you, Mr. Chair. Really just a question regarding timeline for implementation, if approved.
As soon as we get the product here, like I say, Harrington Electric's on site. They gave us a price not to exceed $25,000 to do all the wiring. Most of the stuff we can do ourselves, and we'll do it in-house as quickly as possible. And again, some of the areas that aren't open won't be done as quickly, but if we are going ahead with the City Hall, we'll start with that first. And again, we're only replacing the direct feed toilets, not the residential type toilets that we have here, because they don't have a automatic flush for those.
Mr. Chair.
I was waiting to see if Mr. Broussard had anything else. Thank you. Go ahead, Director Kopfer.
No, I'm gonna forget what I know. We do need to have this on suspension because if we get these ordered, we're pushing till the end of September toward the end of September to be able to get everything in and get started on it. And the other thing is the electrical contract is not to exceed, but they're going to come in and look at it. And if we think that we could find someone else to do it if we think it's too expensive, but they haven't looked at exactly, like some areas might be easier than others to connect into another electrical piece, but that is not part of this ordinance. That would be a purchase order. And this is all we're talking about are the pieces parts.
Okay, thank you. Council, the rest of the council, do you have any questions? Ms. Williamson.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm wondering if anyone's considered the touchless water fountains, if you will, the ones where people can refill their bottles. I know with everything going on now, I think sanitizing those water fountains, if they're even operable at this point, has that even been discussed or considered?
Yes, we have one of them here in the service department, and we are looking at possibly replacing any of those that we have on hand at this time. They weren't
Would they
included in
be
this packet,
ones?
though.
Are those the ones where you can just place a bottle underneath them?
You're right, they've got a little loop on it, and you put it in there, and it's got an electric eye, and it turns it on.
Okay. Just, I know it's off topic, but do you, off the top of your head, know what an average cost for one of those is?
No, ma'am, I don't.
Okay, thank you.
Mr.
Anybody
Chair,
else from council? Go ahead, sir.
do you want a total, you just want the cover sheet total, or do you want them broken down to each individual location? I can send you either one.
Yeah, you could, why don't you send it by location, but the resolution states not to exceed $92,658 for these touchless plumbing and electrical fixtures.
Mr. Chair,
That total is for every location in the city.
correct, but it does not
Okay.
include the electrician.
Correct.
That'll be separate, correct? Yeah.
That's correct.
And the other thing, Mr. Chair and Don, I have a spreadsheet that we did by location, all on one thing. If you want me to send it to you guys, that way you don't have to send, because Sean actually physically went and did an inventory at each location, our maintenance person. So we'll get you what you need, Mr. Kelly.
That'd be great. Thank you very much. Okay, anything else? Any other questions? All right, then, yes, Mr. Glassfern.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This pertains to this, but just the improvements using the emergency funds in general. Counting on the federal government and the state government to do anything right now is very difficult. But the federal officials at least keep talking about the emergency funds as if they're going to be more fungible in the future if they were to pass anything. Just ballpark, what is our timeline internally in terms of these various projects, or how should we perceive this moving forward? I know that this is the smaller part of the project, and that's, I guess, Director Kopfer maybe to answer.
This is a separate project. This has nothing to really do with any of the lobby improvements. This was one of the first things we talked about, actually, was that, we're all touching the same faucets and toilets, and we've always talked about all the paper towels we go through. So this was one of the things that we had talked about originally. So it's not part of it, but it's supposed to be, we have to have everything encumbered by the October 28th, and then spent by the end of the year. Now that's the way the law is right now. They are saying, I've heard rumors that they're going to push it out, or they're going to open it up and let you pay for, revenue losses. But I mean, you can't wait until that happens, if it happens, and then find out they're not going to do it, and then you don't have time to do your project. So, I mean, I think we have to make a choice in some of these choices and move forward. And this one, we're going to go, we talked about, going in order of the most public buildings first. Recreation actually is pretty good. There's only one thing that I think that they have to add to all of their bathrooms, but when they got the upgrade, their bathrooms were improved with touchless faucets and stuff. So we can't wait till the end to find out if it's either A, going to get extended, or B, be able to go to pay for, revenue losses.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, Mr. Chair, just in general, my comment is question was less to make any kind of policy statement as much as to just understand where we are in terms of the timelines with this, because it keeps moving back and forth out of our control. So thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, if there's no other questions, I'd like to go ahead and recommend 2020-82 to committee and ask for a second.
With suspension, Mr. Chair.
With suspension and ask for a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And that will end the meeting at 7:47 PM. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Have